Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another great episode of the J Lounge. Of course, everybody knows that the J Lounge is a celebrity-based podcast show where we talk with actors, directors, singers, you name it. They all come down here and they all have a great time. As per normal, I am always super excited to introducing my next guest. She is an actress, comedian, writer, producer, and she's here to talk about her new film. I'm very, very, very excited for you guys to meet her and get to know her. Everyone, please give a super warm welcome to Anna Fishbeyn. Hi,
Hi, how are you? Great to be
Anna.
here.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Excited to dive right in.
Me too. Me too. I just want to say thank you for joining us today. I know you're a busy woman, so I appreciate you giving me your time. I'm gonna go ahead and fire the first question at you.
Y-
Anna, what began your passion for filmmaking and acting?
So I started out in New York City as a writer at New School working on my MFA, and I was working on this, I was an intellectual. I was doing a PhD at Columbia University. And then I had children, little babies, and I wrote my first little essay called Conversations with My Breasts. And the second essay was called Sex and Mommyville. And, at that time, writers got to perform a little bit of their work at places like Cornelia Street Cafe or the KGB bar in New York City, if your audience is familiar. But it was actually hard to get a spot there. So I called up Cornelia Street Cafe and I said, "Hi, can I have 10 minutes on your stage? I have an essay called Conversations with Pets." And the guy on the other line was like, "With a title like that, you could have your own solo show."
Oh
So,
my goodness.
it was kind of incredible at that time because, I had not anticipated that response. So I invited a bunch of preschool moms, to come and see my show. And then so many people showed up. And there were old men there too. And it was just a packed house. And I went up on stage and I did my thing and I loved it so much. And people were laughing. And then this one mom came up to me and she said, "Do you know that you're an actress?" And I was like, no, I'm an intellectual. I'm a writer. And so the next thing that happened is that I started applying to theaters, and I sent in a little video clip of me performing to theaters, and theaters started to say yes. And the next thing that happened is that I opened my first solo show in New York called Sex and Mommyville at the Flea Theater, which was at the time run by Sigourney Weaver, or it was her theater essentially. So it gave me a lot of instant press, and I had 12 feature stories about me before I ever got up on stage. And I was so nervous. I can't even begin to tell you, so nervous. I hadn't been on stage ever, and it was New York City. And I got up on stage and the audience was packed with very supportive moms. And my first sentence was, "I stand in the kitchen and do the dishes." And they started cracking up. And you know what I mean? And then I was like, all right, I've come home. This is going to be my life.
I love that feeling. I've come home. I'm home. I know exactly what you're feeling, and it's the best damn feeling in the whole world. It's like I finally found my group, my people, my village. You know what I mean? So it's
Exactly. And I've never looked back, to be honest with you, because that feeling of getting up on stage and getting this giant room of people to laugh with you and laugh at you and connect with you and cry with you, because since then I've done lots of different kinds of shows, and I've done drama shows and everything like that. And that feeling is just incredible. And I've never been able to kind of recover. I long for the stage all the time,
I love that. For one, I also agree with the guy. I love your titles of all of your stuff. I think it's so provocative, thought-provoking, and just laugh out loud hilarious. Um,
Thank you.
and I think a lot of moms can, identify and definitely know exactly where you're coming from. Especially when when you're open line, I stand in the kitchen. I think a lot of women, hell, we know exactly what you mean. I've been
Right.
sitting in the kitchen, like just for no reason or for, do work or however. So I
Yeah.
definitely feel like there's a lot of moms that's like, oh my gosh, yes, finally someone is saying it in our language instead of just butting it up and making it sound pretty. They're saying it in our language. It's perfect.
Exactly. It was like, and I remember like some of the reviews were like, this is like communal theater. This is like a theater of like like-minded people sharing their feelings. And all these, at the time, all these mom magazines and all these parent magazines were like, you got to go see Sex and Mommyville. And it was essentially the story of this mom trying to have sex while dealing with all these things like her husband and her parents and her children and all these interruptions. And she's just still trying to be like a viable sexual person. And she really can't do it. And so I used to say, because it was so like provocative, especially when I first opened with it. So I used to say, I know it's called Sex and Mommyville, but you should put a question mark at the end,
Yeah.
So,
Yes. I love it. I love it. Which goes on to my next question here. Name three people who influenced your career and why.
that's really, there's so many people who've influenced my career. I mean, I guess the first person is probably my own mother, who I've unfortunately used in a lot of my shows to make fun of her, and she doesn't
Love it.
mind. She loves it, but she is in Sex and the reason I say that is because I like, how you kind of can map out your own destiny from like one moment in life. Well, in my life, that one moment was when my mom interrupted my ex-husband and I at the time while we were having sex, and we had two little kids, and I milked it for all it was worth. So that was one person, obviously, who influenced me. And then she continued to like support me. And the fact that she didn't get offended was so crucial. Right.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like it's not every mom would be able to, be the center of attention in a play that everybody's laughing at. My mom's like, like, so the second person, is Baz Luhrmann, who I think is an amazing director. And I've actually met him, is a very nice man, but also just a genius, an absolute genius. And I was first truly influenced by him when I watched Strictly Ballroom. That's his first film, and I probably saw it like 1,000 times. And then I just saw Elvis, which was phenomenal. And another person who's influenced me was Viola Davis, who I think her acting is so incredible. She simply draws you in through the power of her gaze. I can't think of another actor who just looks at you through the screen and you feel penetrated, and I just think she's phenomenal, really.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Gotta love. I do love all your choices. And I just think, yeah. Viola Davis, as you said, to me, she's one of the best damn actresses in on this planet. There
She
isn't
is.
there isn't anything that she can't play. I mean, I'm waiting for something that she can't do, but it has not been created, so it may not be possible. She can play.
Exactly. And whether you're watching her like every day on the TV show, which I mean, that storyline, when I got away with murder, right? I can't remember the long sentence, right? The show that she was in, how to get away with murder.
Yeah,
That,
yep.
right? And you're living with her, you're watching her, and you're living with that character. And there was so much depth, and I really enjoyed that show so much because, whether instead of just watching her for a limited amount of time on screen, you actually are able to like live with her essentially, in a show and watch her development. And everything she does, like you were saying, everything. I mean, she really just surprises you every time.
I mean, honestly, like I said, I'm waiting for a role that she can't do, but it's just not possible. It's just not possible.
Exactly.
Going on to the next question. Yes, you have a new film. It's a
Yes.
Galaxy 360, a woman's playground. Can you tell the J Lab's audience a little bit about it?
Sure. So Galaxy 360, A Woman's Playground is basically my first feature film. And it's a sci-fi comedy that takes place in 2195, where women rule the world, men dream of getting married, and it takes place during a male beauty pageant.
I'm
And
loving this. I'm loving this whole entire world. I please continue. I am so intrigued right now.
yes, yes, yes. Well, it's, first of all, obviously I flip gender roles. And in this film, the women have all the power and all the money and all the
Yes.
control, right? And they control the world and no one even questions that. It's
Hell
just the way
yeah.
it is. Right. So you wake up in this world and it's very brightly colored and it's purple and pink and turquoise. That's
Oh
the way
my
it is.
God. Stop the madness. Okay. Stop the madness. I'm loving it. Go on.
Right. So, and then we essentially create a world where men have to live in our shoes and the men are very concerned about getting wives and they're dying for commitment. I mean, they're dying. And there's a thing in our film called the steel bracelet of commitment. And the guys like compete between each other as to who's going to get one because they're all dying to be committed to a relationship. And the women really don't want relationships and and the men have to get them. The men have to seduce them into wanting to be with them. And the men are really, aiming for marriage. They're not because the men don't have power and don't have money. Their survival depends on getting a rich female spouse. So the men now in this world, in my parallel universe, have to worry about being hotter, thinner, younger all the time. And so what it essentially creates is this empathetic reversal where men get to experience what it's like to be us. And one of our funnier moments is that I barrage the film with commercials aimed at men. So we have like men on their wolf periods, how to get men to be less irritable and less annoying when they're on their wolf periods, or stuff to get men. We have pills to get the men to be a lot thinner and weird stuff to make them look younger. I won't tell you because they're so funny, but you need to
Love it
watch the
though.
film.
I love it. For one, that sounds like a great world. I wouldn't mind being a part of it, honestly. Would not mind being a part of it at all. And I do like the concept of flipping that because, and because that's exactly what we women, deal with today. We always have to worry about, are we thin enough, pretty enough, smart enough? Am I speaking too loud? Am I not speaking too enough? It's a lot of things that get bombarded to us, especially the commercials. You always see, all these different types of beauty commercials and anti-aging commercials and all that kind of stuff. So it is a refresher to see that flipped and kind of age towards men because, then it's kind of like you can see how we feel when we go through every single day because this is,
Exactly. And in my view, there are way too many discussions out there for women like, is it better to inject? Is it better to stay natural? Is it better to stay with your gray? Is it better to stay with, is it better to color your hair? Should your color be long? Should it be should it be short? What makes you look younger? What makes you look your age? Should you look your age? And I'm like, fuck that. Like, why?
exactly.
Let's just let that go and stop focusing so much on us. And why are we asking them to be pretty? Like, so
I'm in full on agreement with that. Full on agreement. People need to realize that, aging happens, whether you like it or not. It happens. Instead of fighting with it, just embrace it. At the end of the day, age is not just is it. It's just a number. It
right,
doesn't mean that your
right.
quality of life is done. It doesn't mean your life is done. It's just an age. It's just how long you've been on this planet. That's all it means. So
Exactly. How long you've been on this planet. And, and I like to say, whenever people say to me, like, I never talk about my birthday. I never say what it is, when it is. And I don't talk about it, not because I'm embarrassed of the birthday, not because I'm embarrassed of my age, but I always say that as long as there's prejudice against women and aging, as long as there's actual ageism and women are not getting cast, because there are no older roles for women and women are not getting certain jobs because people want younger women. As long as that is happening, no woman out there should be telling anyone her age. Like the age of every actress should just be blotted and scratched.
agreed.
You know what I mean? Because as long as there's this incredible inequity, when we see pictures of older men and they're like handsome and they're presented, oh, look at their amazing wrinkles, and that's admired, and they're having these beautiful ladies on their arm, and that's a statement of power and wealth and whatever else we have in our society attached to a handsome man with silver hair, right? As long as that's going on, women should not have to talk about how old they are, right? Because if we're doing that, we are immediately lowering our power, because everything for us is about looks right now. Yep. Hopefully, eventually that will change. But
I agree. Hopefully that will change too. And I completely agree with 100%. Yeah, women should not be telling their age based on that fact alone until it's the normal for a woman to be able to look fully her age, show the gray hair, the wrinkles without anyone gasping or,
right.
Almost about to faint because, oh my gosh, I see a wrinkle. I completely agree. It's so silly when you think about the big picture of it. It's so silly.
I know. Chris Evans recently got on the cover of People magazine as the sexiest man alive. And his expression had a little frown between his two brows. And, Chris Evans, I mean, of course he's hot. Of course he's beautiful. Of course he's handsome. But imagine an actress of his stature with a frown between her brows. Would that ever happen? No,
that would not. Would that ever happen? No.
That would never, ever happen. That little frown would be photoshopped out immediately,
Right. But you're right, though. It would be. It would be.
Yeah.
You are so right on that one.
Where they kept his.
Right.
Right.
I want to make sure my audience keeps up with you and your work. Where are you on social media?
Okay. So I am Anna Fishbeyn on Instagram. I am Galaxy 360 Movie on Instagram. On TikTok, I am Anna Fishbeyn World. And also on TikTok, I am Galaxy 360 Movie. And then I would love for people to check out my platform, my content and video platform, where I make inspirational videos for women called Ontario World. And that's spelled ANTERIYA World. You could go to OntariaFilms.com, or you can go to Ontario World. It's like a long web thing. But I make these amazing, I created essentially a futuristic galactic matriarchy. And I created these inspirational videos and confidence boosters for women because I wanted women to experience what it might be like to wake up on a patriarchy in a world where every single planet is ruled by women, so that you live in a world where confidence is not a skill set, it's your birthright. And, for the short duration that they watch these videos, they can feel what that's like. And these futuristic AI created women give women advice. And I'm also going to be hosting webinars for subscribers and workshops for subscribers. And my first workshop is going to be on September 18th at 6 p.m. for people who watched Galaxy 360 and want to talk about it afterwards. So I'll be there for people who want to subscribe, and please tell them to go there.
Oh, absolutely. I highly encourage my audience to go there and follow on the Fishbeyn on all these social media platforms. Because she is putting in the work that we definitely want to see, making the movies that we want to see. So make sure you definitely follow, support, and all of that. And even drop a hi once in a while. Definitely do that too. All right. Going on to the next question. What future projects are you involved with that you can give a dish about to the J Lounge audience?
All right. So I am working on an independent film right now called How to Seduce Your Dinner Guest. And it's comedy and it's sexy, as all things that I do are.
Love it, though. Love it.
And my other interesting project that I wrote I'll just tell to your audience because you and I have been having such a fun vibe. It's a pilot. It's a drama pilot. It's called The Infidelity Club, and it's a cheating club for women. And it's a drama series. And the log line for that is Now you can stay happily married to your cheating husband by cheating yourself.
How has HBO not picked that up yet? It is.
Tell them, Simone.
Because I'd be totally invested in the shows that you put out.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, hello, HBO, get with it. This is totally your guys' material. This is
Right.
content you guys usually love putting out.
Right.
Ah, I'm just saying.
A new twist on adultery.
I
Clearly.
love it though. I do. I love it. All right. Going on to the next question. Name three actors you would love to collaborate with.
Well, I love comedy, and a couple of names. I mean, I like to work with a lot of different actors, but let me just say three that I would love to work with is Will Ferrell, Kate
Yes.
McKinnon, and Pedro
Yes.
Pascal. All of whom I think are hugely talented, plus are super funny, actually.
Yes.
So
Yes. I have been telling, look, in my family, I am the black sheep. I am the only one that thinks Will Ferrell is a comedic genius. I tell my family all the
yes,
time, you guys are just not seeing the brilliance that I am seeing. This man has brought too many classics to the forefront. Anchorman
exactly.
will always be my favorite film of all time. So,
Which one? Which one? Wait.
Anchorman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yes, Anchorman. That is.
Oh my God. Anchorman is like the greatest.
I don't. Exactly. It's like, how could you not love
Oh
Anchorman?
my God, that movie, girl. That movie.
Ah,
I
that movie
can't
has
believe
brought me
you
so much
said
joy.
that. I can't believe you said that because I recently rewatched it. I like rewatched that movie for its comedic brilliance. Like
I
it's just
love it so much. I love that movie so much. It's too much of a classic. And then you have Steve Carell. I mean, come on,
oh my
come on.
God.
How could you not love Steve
That
Carell?
movie is so good. And Christina Applegate, hilarious.
Yes. I mean,
I
how hard is it to have to act with these two comedic giants and try to also match their comedic, comedy too? She had one hell of a job, and I thought she did great because that
she
was
did
a
she
tough
was
job to do.
great. Great. I
Oh,
mean, that way, and it was so inventive, and they introduced like animation during their sex scene. Like I was just like, this is so awesomely crazy and awesome.
exactly, exactly. I think you and Will Ferrell would be. I think that would be a dynamic.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
I always said to myself, if Galaxy makes it big, I want Will Ferrell in Galaxy 2.
yes, please, please. I mean, come on. I mean, I know that he's gonna be a little more busy since he was in the Barbie movie, but still,
Right. Oh my God,
come
he's going to
on.
be so busy. So busy. People are calling my movie Barbie After Dark, because
Ooh, see now, picture this double feature film. You have Barbie and then Barbie After Dark. See, that could totally work. That
it
could
could
work.
be a double feature.
Exactly, exactly. We have one that's kind of for the kids and the others that's not for the kids.
Yeah, mine is definitely not for the kids.
Oh yeah, mine's definitely not for the kids. All right, I guess I got a couple more questions for you. Got one more question for you. What goals do you hope to accomplish in your career that you haven't yet?
It's easy. I would like to make a big budget sci-fi movie that I've already written. So, I would love to make a big budget sci-fi movie. Very, very much.
Yes, I definitely agree. We need more women in sci-fi. It's a
Yeah,
very male dominant genre, and I feel like we
very
definitely
much.
need a refresher, something different, something a little bit new, unique.
Yeah.
So I'm all for a woman, doing a big sci-fi film and just seeing what the sci-fi world would look like from a woman's perspective to me would be definitely unique and
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And I dream of doing that because I have such a different perspective on what it should look like, and the colors that I want, even just the way that I want my sci-fi to look. Because I always think, male sci-fi is very grim and dark and kind of cyberpunk,
yeah,
Whereas like whereas like in my world, it's like bubbly and circly and pink and purple and just
I
sexy.
love that. I just
You
love that.
know,
And
it's like,
I've always thought, because the other day I was watching Fifth Element, I was always wondering what would that movie
ooh,
be like if that movie was directed by a woman, because it's directed by a dude, of course, but it's a very from, I mean, you do have Bruce Willis in there, but it's definitely more for me. I feel like it's more towards a woman's point of view in that movie than it is
yeah, Fifth
Bruce. It was,
Element, you
yeah.
mentioned a great, I mean, that's a great sci-fi. That's closer, you know, that's closer than that, to what I'm talking about than
Oh
oh,
gosh, I love that
yeah, that's
movie.
much, much closer. That's Luc Besson. Right. It
Yes,
it
yes,
it is an amazing movie, I think. Very
yes,
inventive, very creative. And
yes.
color and and colorful and very
Oh,
colorful.
absolutely. When I first saw it, it was definitely, I was like, see, this is what happens when you just meet creativity, just meet the big budget, and this is what this is what's created. I
Yeah.
I I definitely love it. Like I said, I feel like it was definitely more towards a female's perspective because it was more towards Amelia Djokovic's character than it was more towards Bruce Willis. I mean, yes, he was a center point, but I felt like he was there more to further her story along than the other way around. So
Right. Very
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
absolutely.
and then you remember the movie she was in, no, not her, different actress, but the I think Luc Besson. Okay, I don't want to be wrong on your program, but is he the same guy who made La Femme Nikita? You know what I'm talking about? Did you
Let me see. I'm actually gonna
did
see
he
really
make I'm
fast
actually
because
gonna look this up, okay?
yeah,
Did
I'm
he
doing the same thing because I'm actually super because I
No,
want
it's
to
not
say
him. Oh, no, it is him. I'm right. Okay. It is
perfect.
him. La Femme Nikita is Luc Besson. Right. And I loved La Femme Nikita. And I also loved the recent Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. I actually thought that was brilliant.
That definitely that yeah, some that movie was I understand, like, I definitely understand how that movie was definitely decisive for a lot of people. I did see the creativity, the beautiful world that he was trying to create,
Yeah.
and all of that. But I do feel like the story needed to be just a little bit tighter,
Yeah.
and the dialogue just a little bit tighter as well. But I do see the potential and where he was going with that world, with that story. Just needed to be done just a teeny bit tighter.
Yeah, like I mean, for me, it was almost like a learning about cinematic possibilities. Like it's like I think of things in terms of I watch things in terms of cinematic possibilities, and then I also watch them for as movies. Do you know what I mean? And so like I have
Exactly.
like two different approaches to the way that I watch it. And if I
Me too.
you know what I mean? Like, so if I were to a movie that I would rewatch again and again and again would be Anchorman.
Exactly. It would be Anchorman, and I would defend that brilliance against anybody. I just will not
Yeah.
hear of any Will Ferrell slander. Just to be clear, on my program, there will be no Will
Wait,
Ferrell
what's,
slander.
I'm sorry to ask that. What Will Ferrell slander? I don't even know what that is about.
Some
Am I,
people just don't think he's a comedic genius. They don't think he's funny. It's just like, I don't understand. He's brought too many
wow.
classics to the forefront for him
Yeah.
to not be considered a comic genius. I'm just
I mean, I'm thinking of him in like movies where he's even like in a supporting roles and he's still his scenes are so great and so hilarious.
exactly.
You know?
He's so
Like
on. He
remember
just
the Wedding
knows.
Crashers? The wedding
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, he's hilarious in those movies. The funerals, like
that. Oh my gosh, I forgot how underappreciated that movie is. That movie is
under
great. That movie is
exactly,
great.
isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anna, literally, I could just literally sit here and talk with you about movies all day. I
I
honestly have
know. I mean, now that we've discovered Anchorman is our like common ground, I'm sure we have so many others that we are
oh,
just
no doubt, no
yeah.
doubt. But
Night at
I
the Roxbury.
yes. Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started. This is why I say I will not handle any Will Ferrell slander. This is why I say it. That movie has brought me way too much joy. That scene has brought me way too much joy. I will not hear of it. I just won't. I
I
love
think what you do,
everything about that scene.
you know what? You know how the gamers they like comment on the games that they're playing. You and I should like watch Night at the. We should do like a little thing like the
Oh
gamers do.
my God,
And
yes.
we should do a running
That would be,
commentary.
oh my goodness, that would be brilliant. Yes. Yes, you have my email. We can definitely make it happen.
We can do like a little YouTube, like Anna and Simone do running commentary on their Night at the
We
Roxbury.
can do this. We can definitely do this. That would be brilliant. I would love that. I would
That would be
seriously
so
love
funny.
that. Oh my goodness, Anna, you have been an absolute pleasure to talk to. I am so excited my audience is able to get to know you and your films and your work. Definitely want to see more of it. Like I said, I hope, whatever big wigs are watching this, HBO, we got somebody you can pick up and, get some really great ideas for some content. I'm just saying. So for sure.
Oh, thank you so much, Simone. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been just smiling the whole time. I know you can't see me, but I have been. So
I've
it's
been too. I have been too. So that you are all good there. I've been smiling the whole time too. But I do want to highly encourage my audience. Make sure you follow Anna Fishbeyn on all social media platforms. Check out her work, movies, follow her, support her, drop a hello. We definitely want to see more of it. She's got great ideas and great content. We definitely want to see more of it. Um, but of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the Moses, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson. I will be back with another great episode of the J Lounge here soon. Until then, I want to thank everyone for listening in. I want to thank my amazing guest, Anna Fishbeyn, one more time. And I will be back soon. Okay. Bye.